the camera that brought me back into photography, the Olympus E-PL5. Let's talk about this. Hey, thanks for joining me. So I've been involved in the photography industry most of my life, but back in 2007 I took a job that required extensive travel, and so I would be on the road 25 to 30 weeks out of the year and traveling all over the country. And I took a little point and shoot digital camera with me on those trips. Initially it was a little Fuji, like a 7 or 8 megapixel camera, and sadly it was stolen from me, and I replaced that with a little Panasonic Lumix point and shoot camera that is 14 megapixel, and both cameras did a really good job. I really enjoyed using them, but I really primarily carried those cameras so that I could document the work I was doing, and if I had time, which was rare, to go visit someplace while I was traveling, I would use those cameras to take some pictures. But I didn't really pursue photography as even a hobby during that time. So for about 12 or 13 years, I just really didn't do much in the way of photography. But especially towards the end of that time, I started thinking about wanting a digital camera with interchangeable lenses. I still had a lot of old film camera equipment laying around, a lot of lenses and stuff, and so I thought a mirrorless camera would be great for adapting some of those lenses and allow me to use some of those and take advantage of that. And so I started doing some shopping around, and the more I studied it, the more I really began to like the Olympus mirrorless cameras. And I was looking on an online auction site one day and spotted this Olympus E-PL5 at a very reasonable price. It was on a buy it now thing. So I purchased it, and it came with the 14 to 42 2R zoom lens, and it also came with the little factory flash that comes with the camera, and all the boxes and instruction books and everything. And like I said, the price was really attractive, so I bought it. And this was kind of what got me started into really getting back into photography after being away from it for a while. Now, I had used digital cameras. One of my last jobs that I had at a photography studio, we used Fuji S2s. They were 6 megapixel DSLRs, and did a fantastic job. Really enjoyed working with those. But after leaving that business, I didn't really have access to a camera that you would say could produce professional results. And so I really longed to find something. So when I found this, I was really pleased with it. I ordered it. When it came, I started using it and immediately started ordering adapters so that I could fit some of the various vintage lenses that I have, and started going through all my old lenses and stuff, trying to find lenses and such that I could mount on this. Even got an adapter. I had actually a microscope adapter for a Pen F, like a Pen FT, the old half-frame film camera, and so I got a Pen FT to micro 4/3 adapter, and have even been able to use this on a microscope. So as time went by, though, I decided I wanted a backup camera. I talked about that in another video. I bought an EP1, which is slightly larger body rather than the EPL series. It was the EP1, and I really liked the size and the feel and the heft of that EP series, and ended up buying an EP5, which I use both those cameras extensively today. The EPL5 or the EP5 is just one of my favorites. I did a video about that a while back, and I'll put a link in the description down below. This is just one of my favorites. But as you can see, the size is a bit different. The EPL body is a little bit shorter, and they use the same lenses, and they both have a 16 megapixel sensor. But let's talk about some of the features in this EPL5. I ended up gifting this camera to one of my sons, and I've borrowed it back for this video. And in borrowing it back, I really started thinking about how really great this camera is. I'm not going to say I wish I hadn't given it to him, because I'm glad he has it, but it may make me think about buying another one. So the EPL5 was introduced in 2012, September of 2012, so this 2022. Now it's a 10-year-old camera, more or less. 16 megapixels, like I said. It's got a 3-inch touchscreen display, and it is a touchscreen, so you can actually touch a point on the image and it'll focus there and take a picture, which is kind of cool. This doesn't have the Wi-Fi that the EP5 has, but it's you can of course pull the memory card out and put it in a card reader or plug a USB cable into the camera to transfer images. So it does have a tilting screen, not too dissimilar from the EP5, with one significant difference in that you can actually tilt this screen up enough that you can see it from the front of the camera. So these were real popular to use as a vlogging camera when they first came out. You could hold it at arm's length or put it on a selfie stick or whatever, and you could use it as a vlogging camera because you could see yourself in the screen right up above the top. So these were quite popular for that for a time. The maximum shutter speed on these is a 4,000th of a second. It'll shoot 8 frames per second. So if you're shooting sports or stuff like that, for me it was just pictures of the kids, grandkids playing sports. It was kind of cool for that. It weighs a little less than 11.5 ounces, so it's pretty light. Maximum ISO is 25,600, and this has image stabilization, a little different than the EP5. This is 3-axis, where this is the EP5, and some of the later models are 5-axis. So it does have image stabilization. It's just not quite as capable as some of the later models. And this will shoot 1080p video. So if you want to shoot video, it will do that too. It's got built-in microphones on the top, and it does a pretty nice job with video. So it's a really kind of a neat camera. But I got to thinking about some uses for this camera. Like, it's a little bit smaller, a little more compact than the EP series, and yet it's got a really nice grip on the front that is attaches, and you can take it off, but I don't know why anyone would. And it's got a thumb rest on the back, which is handy, so it gives you a nice way to grip it. And I don't have huge hands. My fingers are kind of short. It's been a real thing for playing the guitar, short fingers. But I'll never be a good piano player. But this has enabled me to hold on to this camera easily, and it's not too small for my hands. If you had really big hands, you might find this just a little too small. But it's really easy to use camera. Controls on the top are your typical controls you would see on a camera like this, and it's got all the automatic and the manual control you would ever want, and does have an accessory shoe with a hot shoe in it. You can attach not only the little flash it comes with, but you could also attach a bigger flash if you wanted something more powerful. So I really enjoyed using this camera, but I got to thinking, this would be a really great camera for street photography. If you were to pair this with a pancake lens like the little Olympus 30 or a 17 f2.8, or maybe the Panasonic 20mm f1.7 like I have on this camera, that would make a really nice little street setup. You can, like I talk about in the EP5 video, you can flip this screen up so you can hold the camera down at waist level, look down at the screen, and people don't realize you're taking their picture because you're not looking at them. You're looking down at your camera. They don't realize you're seeing forward because of the screen. But so you can use this to kind of surreptitiously take pictures. I think it'd be a great little street photography camera. And some would say, well, the Olympus Pen series, they don't have a viewfinder, and so I want a viewfinder. And what's funny is I kind of thought that too when I first started getting into the Olympus cameras. And I used to shoot rangefinder Leicas, so I was really used to using a viewfinder and a camera. And I have to say, at times, especially when shooting macro or with really long telephoto lenses, it would be nice to have a viewfinder. And you can put one of the accessory viewfinders on this that Olympus makes, but I'd gotten quite used to using my phone and my little point and shoot cameras with just a screen. I really didn't find using the screen to be that disadvantageous, and the fact that this flips up like it does, or you can tilt it back if you're shooting above your head, you can see the screen. And the screen on this is really easy usable. If you get really just bright sunlight hitting it, you're going to have some trouble. But if you can, shade the screen at all, you're going to be able to see it just fine. So this camera has been a lot of fun. I think this, with the little compact lens like this, make a great street camera. One of the reasons, as I mentioned, that I got into the Olympus mirrorless cameras was the ability to adapt vintage lenses. Now, when I first got this, I had a Canon 50mm f3.5 macro lens. And some of the pictures I'll show you came from that lens. Since then, when I gave this camera to my son, I also gave him that macro lens, and I'm now using a 55mm f3.5 micro Nikkor. Both lenses are just great lenses. The micro Nikkor is known for its image quality, just a great lens. But adapting vintage lenses to the mirrorless cameras was one of the main reasons I got into these, and I've really enjoyed being able to put to use a lot of the vintage lenses that I had that otherwise would just be sitting in a drawer. And you do have to manually focus them, and you have to manually set the aperture, but I grew up doing that with all my film cameras. I'm quite used to that. I still shoot film cameras, so I do that with those too. So that's not foreign territory for me, and I don't have any problem with that. But using vintage lenses on these, since they're mirrorless cameras, is really easy to do. So, and as I mentioned, this camera came with the 14-42 2R, which is the latest version of the standard zoom lens for these cameras. Now, I know they make a compact version of this. I'm sure optically they're very similar. This less compact version, I guess you might say, is still not big, and it's lightweight. And the image quality from this, I've been quite impressed with. I've taken a lot of pictures, not only with this one, but with another black one that I have in my camera bag. And it is a kit lens, but I have just been completely impressed with the image quality. It definitely takes really sharp photos. So this is a great little outfit. Like I said, I got this pretty inexpensively. I bought the whole outfit with the lens and the body and the flash and all the accessories and the strap and instruction manuals, everything in the boxes. Now, it was used. It had a fairly low shutter count, but I paid $150 for the whole outfit. Now, that was kind of an exceptional deal. I don't know if you can get one that cheap anymore. I mean, if you look around, you can, but these are available at really reasonable prices, especially compared to buying a new camera. If you can ascertain the shutter count, that's good if you can try to get one with a low shutter count. But these little cameras are just a fantastic little camera. Now, there are earlier versions. There's the E-PL1, 2, 3, and then there's afterwards the E-PL, I think there's a 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. They skipped 4, and like I mentioned in the video about the EP5, the reason they skipped number 4 is that the word 4 in Japanese sounds very similar to the word death. And so they tend to skip the number 4 in a lot of things. They don't want a camera, that in their advertisement sounds like, Olympus EP Death. That just sounds really bad. So that's why there's no number 4, which is kind of an interesting thing. But anyway, if you're thinking about getting into a mirrorless camera, you want something nice and compact, especially if you travel, if you want to do street photography, and you're trying to get started, especially if I'm trying to do that on a budget, this might be a really good choice. The image quality is really good. 16 megapixels is plenty of pixels, and it will produce professional quality results from this camera. So I wouldn't be afraid at all to use this for just about anything I wanted to take pictures of. So the E-PL5, it's a great little camera. Well, I appreciate you watching my video today. If you would, please click on the like and subscribe buttons. That always helps the channel. And as always, thanks for watching.